Hey guys, it's Andreas here, and for today's video, what I wanted to do is I wanted to tell you guys my journey into med school. I mean, how I got from where I'm at today all the way from high school, right? Now, before I begin, I just want to tell you that this is my individual story. There's not one right way, and there's not one right path to get into med school. I know kids who are 24 graduating med school, and I also know kids who are 44 starting med school, all right? So everyone has their own individual pathway into the field of medicine. Now, starting off in high school, right, I was not really mature, so I did not do really well. Like, I was a horrible student. My GPA was not even room temperature, I don't think. I would go to class not studying. I would take tests, just oblivious of what was going on. So I wasn't mature, and the dream of becoming a doctor was just very, very like far-fetched. I mean, you can ask anyone in my school, not that you should really care what anyone thinks of you, but you can ask anyone I went to school with if they thought that I was going to be a doctor at that very moment, and they tell you no. Now, I got lucky. I ended up getting into this school that was quite of a reach for me, and in college, that's when I really matured, and that's when I really stepped it up and said, okay, if I want to do well, if I want to become a doctor, I need to do well in college. So moral of that high school story is that your present does not dictate your future. I mean, at any given point, you can turn it up and you can be whatever you want to be as long as you put in that effort, right? So going back to college, right? So in college, I did very, very well. I mean, I'll tell you guys my stats at the end of my college career, but I really put in the work. I studied really hard and I did good in my classes, right? So GPA-wise, my cumulative GPA was a 3.71, right? So I graduated with honors. But like the non-science GPA, because you have the science GPA and you have the non-science GPA, right? My non-science GPA was a 4.0 because, I mean, you got to do well in those classes. And my science GPA, I think, was like a 3.3, right? So it averaged out to a 3.7. So as far as withdrawing classes, I think I withdrew 2 math classes throughout all of college, but like they make it seem like you withdraw a class and all of a sudden you're like blacklisted. No, it's not that bad. If you can't handle the class, your grades are going to suffer, so just drop it out and just take a W. It's not that bad. It happens. If you think those commissions or whatever med school commissions don't see 1 million W's a day, you're out of your mind. I mean, shit happens, all right? So anyway, I graduated. I had really good grades, right? But throughout college, I did various volunteer work. I did Meals on Wheels and I did hospital work, right? Now, I only did 2 things because when you apply for med school, right? I'll make other videos about applying to med school. They want you to really hone in and on like unique experiences, and you really only develop unique experiences by doing something a long time, because hopefully you'll eventually come to those unique experiences, right? So try not to spread yourself too thin. Like, pick 2 things and stay with those, right? As far as like clubs and all that stuff, I was president of 2 clubs, and like vice president of another club. I was president of the Biology Honor Society, and the other club I was president of, I actually started. So if you can't really get into any clubs in college, just start your own college. You know what? Just put things in your own hands and just start a college, or start a club. My club was called MCAT Study Club, and that looked great on my resume. And the other one I was vice president of was like the Chemistry Honor Society, right? Now, as far as research is really important to get into med school. I was always like really, really troubled. Like, how am I going to get involved in research? Like, I'm not a scientist. Like, what do I know? So all you have to do is speak to a professor who's in the science department at your college, at your respective college, and they will guide you. Because you can't just say, oh, I want to do research. No, you have to work with your professors, and they will guide you into the right direction, and they'll help you do research, all right? So a big thing about getting into med school is you have to like allow yourself to ask questions and allow yourself to listen to what people have to say, because your professors, they just want to help you, all right? So how I got into research is I just asked the science department to put me in some research program they had, whatever research they were currently doing, and that's how I got my hours, right? So once I graduated college, I enrolled in this 3-month program that prepped you to take the MCAT, right? Now, a lot of kids, they study in college for the MCAT, but I thought that was too overwhelming, so I just waited till after I graduated, which will push you back a cycle. So I had to wait 1 year to apply to med school, which I didn't really care, whatever. I just wanted to do good in the MCAT. So I waited 3 months, I prepped up, whatever. But at this time, I don't know why, I just wasn't focused while I was studying. It's very important while you're studying while you're studying by yourself for the MCAT, that you're focused, that you're dedicated, and that you're putting in the hours, because I really wasn't. And it showed on my score. So I took the MCAT 3 times. First time I got a 490, second time I got a 495, and the third and final time I got a 499, right? Now, these scores weren't that competitive, and while my other aspects of my resume, like my grades, my extracurriculars, my clinical experience, was all really stellar, my MCAT was quite crippling, and that's what really held me back from getting into the upper echelon of schools, right? So when it came to applying, foolish me, which I'll make a video again, all my mistakes and all like more detailed videos, I guess, but I ended up blindly applying to like 60 plus schools, just handing out money, just stupidly just applying to schools, right? And I got rejected from most of them, and I got some interviews or whatever, but it was ultimately my MCAT score, that low MCAT score, right, that held me back. And I eventually got into a certain med school, right? And I don't go around saying the med school I got into, because I'm not sponsored by a med school, first off, right? And so I'm not promoting anything for free, which whatever. And another thing is, I don't want you guys calling my med school, because I have like a following on TikTok and all that stuff. So anyway, so I eventually got into med school, right? But if I could go back, I would really want to be more dedicated while I was studying for that MCAT, because a very, very, very important aspect of your resume, and that's what separates you from other candidates, right? So med school has been a pleasure right now, as far as I've gotten so far, right? It's hard, but at the same time, it's like it works your mind in a way that you never thought could be worked, and it's been enjoying, even though it's stressful. It certainly is enjoying. Now, in this channel, I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna do detailed videos, answering all your questions. This was just like a general overview of how I got to where I am today. And if you guys can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment, tell me what you want. Tell me what you guys want to hear, and that's what I'll make a video on, all right? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my story, and like I said, there's no one way to medicine, all right?